Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great week, and the weekend's almost here, so yay. I wanted to hop on and talk quickly about a couple things that have been coming up with the breakthrough calls I've been doing and with a lot of my clients. So I would say about 99% of people who I work with have had some kind of past trauma or terrible event, or many terrible events happen in their past. And what's trauma to one person might not be trauma to me. So I always rely on the person to tell me if something felt traumatic. Some people have been diagnosed with PTSD, and some people haven't, but they just know that there had been a trauma. So what trauma does is it actually changes the neurology in your brain. You can see it in a brain scan. And what it does is it actually makes your brain light up like a Christmas tree during a brain scan. And it creates all kinds of negative neural patterns that weren't there before the trauma. If you have childhood trauma and your brain's developing, it can become a lot of different types of issues. And you know that you have trauma if you're always thinking about these past events, you're always in the past event, you have a lot of panic when you think about something. I had a client who had been assaulted, and she became extremely hypervigilant, anxious, not trusting, especially of men, and this was affecting her relationships. She didn't have that before the assaults, just after. And if you have a lot of childhood trauma, it can really affect your relationships moving forward. There can be issues with abandonment, feeling unsafe, with trust, feeling unloved, and that in turn can create a lot of behaviors. And that I see a lot in relationships. And another thing that can happen if one person in the couple has had trauma and they are choosing a behavior, unconsciously, obviously not consciously choosing behavior, that's not good for the marriage, say like cheating or disconnecting or something like that, that can in turn traumatize the other partner as well. So I have definitely worked with couples where one person's behavior because of past trauma actually creates a PTSD in their current client because of the partner's behavior, right? So for example, if, say a man is cheating because he has all kinds of issues and abuse from his past that created mistrust or abandonment or love issues, and his wife knows about that, and then she's in turn, every time he goes out, feels traumatized because she doesn't know what is going to happen. And she's always living in that fear cycle, that panic, right? So what can we do about it is the question. And I know that many, many, many professionals will tell you that you have to live with your trauma and you just have to manage it. And I am going to tell you that is simply not true. And a lot of you guys who are my clients can attest to this. We can get rid of trauma extremely quickly in a very non-traumatizing way. So what we want to do is detach the emotions from the event, okay? There is absolutely no reason to rehash all of these terrible events that have happened to you. You've probably talked about them a million times, or at the very least, you're thinking about them all the time, right? For the work I do with people on their own or couples, it doesn't matter the event. You could just tell me I was 5 and I had trauma. Okay, that's all I need to know. What I care about are the emotions that are created from those events. That is all that matters for my purposes. And what we do is we detach those emotions from the event so that the event obviously is always going to be there, but it will no longer have power over you. Okay, so when that detaches, what people find is that you don't really even think about it. Or when you do, it's sort of like, oh, that's a thing that happened to me. Okay. And when you can start to have that freedom and it cuts that neural pathway, those neural pathways of trauma, now we can start to release those emotions and patterns and pathways and neurological chains that were caused and created from that trauma, right? So it's very, very quick to heal in that way. And then if you're healing yourself, your relationships around you are going to start to heal, right? It's great if I can work with both people in a couple, but I don't have to. A lot of my clients, I just work with the one person. But all you can do is change yourself, right? And when you start to change yourself, all kinds of really amazing things can happen. And when you learn how to deal with your trauma and get rid of it and get rid of all that stuff around it, whether it's from childhood or more recent events or both, then you can start to heal your relationships. So it's very, very powerful, but the first thing that you have to do is start within. And give over to that belief that it can be very simple and very quick to deal with this stuff. The one thing my clients always tell me is I wish that I'd found this years ago because it's so simple and painless. So if you are dealing with some kind of a trauma and it is affecting your relationships negatively, you feel like you're repeating those same patterns over and over and over again, right? A lot of people who've had trauma, they are drawn to people who aren't good for them because that's the pattern that's running in their brain. There's no judgment or anything around that. It just happens, right? And you want to get into a relationship with people who treat you how you deserve to be treated. Let's figure that out. So if you have any questions about any of this, or want to know more specifically, how things work in the brain and how I do my process, I'm happy to hop on a call with you. There's absolutely no reason for you to live with any kind of trauma or PTSD affecting your relationships with your partner, with your children, creating those negative patterns, feeling miserable and panicky and anxious all the time. Let's just get in there and get rid of it in a couple of months, okay? So yeah, post your questions or hop on Messenger with me. I'm happy to have a chat or book a call, and I would love to help you. So yeah, let me know. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.